Hi everyone, today I want to talk a little bit about the topic of Medicaid. Medicaid is the state health program for individuals with low income or no income and limited assets, based on the thresholds set by many states. The limit for many states are, for a single individual, the asset limit is $2,000 or less, and for a married couple, it is $3,000 or less. Now, the asset limits they set do not include the value of your primary home, as long as you are living in that home and one vehicle that you own and use. In this video, I want to focus on the home. There are many cases where people think, oh, I'm using Medicaid's expensive services, so it probably won't affect my home. However, in many cases, your home, while it is an exempt asset and not counted toward eligibility for Medicaid, can still be subject to the estate recovery law. The Medicaid Estate Recovery Program allows states to recover the costs of medical services paid on behalf of the Medicaid recipient from the assets of their estate, including their home, after they pass away. This is the topic I want to share in this video. So for those of you who may not have heard about this before, I just want to share some information. Some of you might think, why is it like that? Right? If the value of your home isn't counted toward the asset limit, then why does Medicaid have a law allowing them to recover costs from the estate, including the home, after someone passes away, to reclaim the expenses they paid while that person was alive and using the services? That's correct, but that is the Medicaid law. This estate recovery law, as some of you may know, allows Medicaid to recover costs that were paid for expensive Medicaid services used while you were alive. This law typically applies to individuals aged 55 and older, especially those who received long-term care services. These services could include in-home care or community-based services designed to help recipients stay in their homes while receiving necessary medical care. However, it's not only individuals who received long-term care services who are subject to estate recovery. Some states expand this recovery to include other costs paid by Medicaid, meaning even broader services could impact your estate. The key point here is to be aware that if you fall into such a category, your home could be at risk of being targeted by Medicaid for estate recovery in the future, or they may place a lien on your property. The first scenario is the one we just talked about. Now, the second scenario is where Medicaid might target your home for recovery is when you are single, or if you're married but your spouse is no longer living. If the Medicaid recipient passes away without a surviving spouse, the state can recover Medicaid costs from the value of your home through estate recovery. However, if there is a surviving spouse, the state cannot force the spouse out of the home to recover those costs. They are not allowed to do that. That said, there might be some specific legal structures in place that could help prevent Medicaid from recovering the value of your home. These are things worth looking into, such as placing your home into a trust, irrevocable trust, to prevent Medicaid from taking your house. Scenario number 3 is when there are no minor children or children with disabilities. If you pass away and do not have any children under the age of 21, or children who are blind or disabled, Medicaid can recover costs from your home through estate recovery. However, if you do have children who fall into these categories, the law does not allow Medicaid to take your home. The fourth point I want to mention is that many people who use Medicaid and own a home may not realize that Medicaid could potentially take their home, so they don't establish an appropriate estate plan. If you don't have a proper estate plan in place, Medicaid can recover the assets left in your home through estate recovery. There are tools such as irrevocable trusts, life estate deeds, or other legal arrangements that can help prevent your home from being subject to recovery. If you want to protect your home and fall into one of the scenarios where exceptions don't apply, it's important to consider these legal structures. Otherwise, Medicaid might target the estate, including your home after you pass away. Scenario number 5. Some of you might think, well, that's simple. I'll just transfer the house to someone else before I pass away. In reality, it's not that easy, especially when you're already receiving Medicaid. The value of your home is excluded from the $2,000 asset limit for singles or the $3,000 asset limit for couples. However, if you transfer your property, whether as a gift or by selling it for less than its value, Medicaid will count the value of that asset transfer, which could affect your Medicaid eligibility. Additionally, if you're already using Medicaid for expensive services, they might place a lien on your home. This means you can't transfer the property without properly compensating Medicaid for the costs they've paid for your care. If you try to transfer the home before applying for Medicaid, many states have a look-back period of 5 years. During this time, they review your financial history to see if you've transferred assets in a way that violates Medicaid rules. If they find such transfers, it could lead to penalties, including delayed eligibility for Medicaid services. Medicaid wants to ensure that people don't hide or give away assets to qualify for the program unfairly. So, transferring your home before applying for Medicaid might not align with Medicaid's rules. It's something to consider carefully. And of course, there are many other scenarios as well. However, in this video, I only wanted to focus on the 5 scenarios that occur most frequently. This video is meant to share a little information for those of you who currently have Medicaid or are planning to apply for Medicaid in the near future and may not be aware that Medicaid has laws allowing them to recover costs from your estate, including your home, if you fall into certain situations where you've used costly services and own a home. That's just a bit of information on this topic. I'll see you in the next video to discuss more. Thank you so much, and goodbye.